Well, AI to me is very dangerous because it is the evolution of the machine which makes human beings irrelevant.
Well, this is the matrix.
Yes. And the World Economic Forum called this guy the future of construction in the developing world.
Ending the housing crisis
Yes.
that we're living in.
If we would let them.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I've seen
And they
it.
said, let's go home, and they all go home.
Yes,
I don't know.
seen it.
I don't know
And
if that
I've
was
seen
real or not.
اهلا بيكم في حلقه جديده من بزنس وذ مو بودكاست. معاكم محمد علي، بزنس وماركتنج كوتش. النهارده الحلقه بتاعتنا هتبقى بالانجلش، فانا هتكلم دلوقتي بالانجلش. هقدم الضيف بتاعنا. Today we have a very special guest. He is an author, entrepreneur, and also one of the a brand activist. With us today is Christian Sarkar. Christian,
Thank you.
are
Thanks for
you?
having me. Great.
thank you so much for accepting our
Thank
invitation
you.
and appearing on our
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you.
We're lucky to have you.
No, I'm lucky to be here. So
Thank you so much. Welcome to Egypt.
Thank you.
How is Egypt treating you so far?
Egypt has been amazing so far. You know, the people are amazing, and this event has been amazing, and you guys have all been amazing. It's really been eye-opening.
This is
The
the first time,
enthusiasm is a very high level of enthusiasm. So I love that.
This is the first time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I love your outfit, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. You are a brand activist. What is that?
A brand activist is somebody who is working with brands to change the world for the better.
Okay.
So when we wrote the book, Phil Kotler and myself, on brand activism, the idea was that we want to use big brands to use their power to make a difference. Not just to make profits, but
Okay.
also to make a difference on the world's most urgent problems.
Okay.
So if you're in a community, what are those problems that you can help solve? At a global level, what are some of the biggest issues that your company can make a difference because you're so big?
Really? Okay.
So if Walmart decides that we're going to go solar, that's a
Then-
huge impact.
Yeah, huge impact. on
And
the
there's
environment.
a rolling effect because everybody who's related to Walmart also decides that, okay, we're also going to do the same. We're also going to go solar. So there's this knock-on effect, this domino effect, if you will, multiplier effect of large companies when they decide to change their business practice to make the world better.
To be like social responsible. So
It's beyond social responsibility. Social
Okay.
responsibility means you don't blow, you're not messing up the environment. You're not destroying the, you're a good citizen.
okay.
But this is going beyond a good citizen. This is saying that not only am I a good citizen, but I'm actually going to help
Help.
the world get better. And I'm going to work with the government. I'm going to work with nonprofits. We're going to work together to make this better.
Okay, throughout your journey, you have been an author, an entrepreneur, and a brand activist, all right, which is something that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode.
Sure.
All right, but can you give us an example of impact that happened with brand activism?
Sure. So at the time, I didn't know it was brand activism.
Okay.
But now looking back, I go, wait, that was actually brand activism.
Yeah.
So we had a challenge in 2011, 2012, no, 2010.
2010, okay.
In the Harvard Business Review. It was an article I wrote with not Phil Kotler, another gentleman, another professor. And it was about the $300 house challenge. We said, all you smart designers in the world, come on down and help us design a house for very poor people that's safe, keeps them, covered.
Yep.
Because at the time, there were 1.5 million people out in the streets in Haiti after the earthquake.
That was when?
In Haiti,
Okay.
2010.
Haiti, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And so the idea was, let's find a way to build small houses for them that they can live in while they're figuring out what to do. Because these are very poor people. There's nobody helping them. And when the UN came to Haiti, they gave them tents. And these tents were about $700, $1,000.
Yep.
But they were not safe. People
Yep.
would just cut the thing and then
Yeah, cut it with a knife
and
or something.
rape the women and all kinds of bad things.
Okay.
So okay, all you fancy designers, instead of, working on user experience for 5 minutes, architects, IKEA, Tata Group, all these kinds of really big companies, small companies, and individuals joined us, and we had this huge challenge. And Harvard Business Review was our platform to get the word out. But then we had this challenge, and out of the 300 participants, we had 20 winners.
Really?
And one of those winners has become an amazing company. and it's from South Africa. I mentioned
What's
them
the
in
name
my
of the
speech.
company?
It's called Moladi.
Moladi.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
owner and the founder is a guy named Henny Boats.
Okay.
Who's this genius guy. But what he did is he created this Lego type plastic block that you put together, then you pour the concrete in there, then you remove the Lego a day later, and your house is standing.
Standing, yeah.
And then you use it again and again and again. And you can train people on the streets to use this because it's not high tech, but it's high design, low tech.
Yeah.
And so this thing now is in and he's not just building houses, he's building courthouses, schools, hospitals all over Africa and beyond, in Latin America, in Asia. So he's now in 20-something, 22, maybe more countries at this time doing this. And the World Economic Forum called this company, Moladi, the future of construction in the developing world.
Actually, this is very interesting.
It's very interesting. And the whole point of this is a brand activist company that has brand activism at the core of its business. So it's not an add-on, it's not nice to do. It's the purpose of the company is to build affordable housing.
It might help in ending the housing crisis that we're living in.
If we would let them.
Yes.
Because you know what the barrier is?
Yep. I know the barrier.
Yeah, the
Big
barrier
companies.
is big guys
Yes.
and governments that don't want this to replace the money junk that they're doing.
Well, real estate is one of the biggest industries around the world.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
And
But this is
governments-
not real estate. This is
Exactly.
real estate for the poor.
Exactly.
Which
So
means
that's what
we
I'm
don't
saying.
want them. We want the poor homeless, or we don't want them around at all, or we want them very far away from us. And the technique that he uses is also very interesting. He doesn't say, oh, I'm going to do it, hire me, let me do it. He says, form a co-op in your community. We'll train your people how to do this, and we will build a business for you in your community building these houses.
Yeah. Okay.
So you see how it's
Yeah,
not...
I see.
It's another level.
It's another level of construction
Yes.
and housing.
Yes.
Right? Which
And
is,
skills.
can be supporting.
And skills building. So
Yeah.
it actually eliminates poverty, or not eliminates, but helps alleviate poverty. It actually uses semi-skilled people who don't have jobs, gives them, helps them actually learn some skills, which then can be used further on to keep doing this. And it creates local entrepreneurship. So it's not charity.
Yep.
So all
It's
these,
still, they are making money.
The truth is, it's actually too good a business idea for it to be embraced by the status quo.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, this man has persisted, and now, like I said, he's in 22 countries, and they're doing more and more and more.
All of them are Africa or outside?
No, all
Asia?
Asia, Africa, North America, and South America.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Europe hasn't jumped.
So the brand activism actually is something that can be building a business, building a concept, ending world crisis.
Yes.
in some
So
cases.
that's a brand that's purpose built.
Yep.
Now you can have a brand like ice cream. I mentioned this also in my thing. They're like an ice cream brand, where the ice cream itself is not a brand activist.
Yeah,
in fact, it's probably a little bad because you're eating sugar. But you can have a healthy ice cream, let's say, with
stopped
less
eating
sugar.
Like-
Yeah, me too. My wife wants me to, but I can't stop. But the idea is, okay, a healthier ice cream, but the purpose is wrapped around the brand.
Yep.
So this is a purpose that you adopt. So in this case, I'm talking about Ben and Jerry's ice cream, where the owners of this company, the founders, were hippies. And they had real hippie ideas like, hey, we need equality, we need voting rights, we need, people should not have to be discriminated against. So they had all these progressive values, and they wrapped these values around the brand and stood for them and supported them.
Yep.
And so this is a different kind of, it's not purpose built, but it's purpose wrapped with activism.
Well, perfect.
So,
well, let's talk about the Regenerative Marketing Institute.
Sure.
How is this helping?
So
actually?
when Phil and I first started working on this brand activism, our hope was that companies from the top would adopt this, some of the big companies. And one of them that we did do a little bit of stuff with was Unilever. And they were, I think, with Paul Pullman, quite effective. In fact, they said that they had like 200 something brands, but 70% of their growth in revenues came from the small 12 or 15 brands that had purpose, that were brand activists.
Okay.
Even though they had many other brands that were not brand activists, the ones that were brand activist brands were 70% of their growth.
Really?
That's the return on investment on brand activism.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they didn't go all the way. They didn't really say, okay, our company maybe is no longer a pure profit company. Maybe it's a B corporation, or maybe it's a community interest corporation, which is a different kind. So then the pressure of just monthly profits and quarterly profits is taken away. And then you can actually think for the long term. So Phil and I went with this top-down approach to the Brand Activism book. Then we said, okay, what can we do in an area that they have no money? They just have a community and small businesses, but they have no outside money coming in. And this actually came when the mayor of Palermo invited us to come to Palermo to help him come up with some ideas for the future.
For the future, yeah.
And so we went there for a month, interviewed some 150 people, and the result of that project, which then lasted about a year, turned into, and actually is still going on, but it ended up becoming the Regenerative Marketing Institute, and that Phil, myself, and Enrico Foglia, who's in Rome, founded.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, before we start, we have a controversial thought about generative AI.
Okay.
What do you think about that? And what do you think about the evolution of Web3?
Well, AI to me is very dangerous because by itself, maybe it's not as dangerous as we think, but it's really, who is AI serving? Is it serving you? Is it serving the common good? Or is it serving a few billionaires?
Or served by you?
Or are you is it sucking your brain out? Yeah. And so the answer here is, because it's not very well regulated, it's owned by a few billionaires who are not interested in the common good. They're actually interested in making more money. So we have this great danger that we're moving to machine capitalism. That all the bad things in capitalism, we're now going to automate that. And we're going to accelerate it. So not only are we taking the worst things from our existing system, but we're going to make it faster and more efficient. So this is what, when Elon Musk says,
the evolution of zombies?
It is the evolution of the machine which makes human beings irrelevant.
Well, this is the Matrix.
Yes.
The Matrix is actually happening right now.
That's right.
Okay, so what...
And we're laughing about it.
Yeah, exactly. We're laughing about it.
Because we can't do anything. Yeah.
I mean, it's just evolving every day. I know that every day my feed is just full of new tools, doing something, automations, replacing other jobs, and so on and so forth. For me, yes, I believe in AI, or I believe in generative AI, okay? But
let's tax them.
Exactly.
So when a company makes money off AI, tax them.
Exactly. Because
and that money, when
you're
you tax
taking
them,
jobs out of people
that's right.
and replacing that with this, and people are not ready for this.
Did you see that Chinese fair where the little robot was talking to the other robots? Did you see that?
Yes, I've seen
it. And they
it.
said, let's go home, and they all go home.
Yes,
I don't know if that was real or not.
And I've seen Gemini actually like talking to someone, threatening them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
And scary.
Scary, right? That's
Imagine if you put a gun in the hands of a robot, which we are already doing.
They don't have emotions. What's different between humans and AI is emotions. We survive on emotions. We actually live life with a purpose.
But we also have a bigger life. We don't, don't have one purpose in life. We have many things we do. And AI is an algorithm that's saying, okay, do this.
Here's the thing.
And it doesn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
So that's a huge danger.
Yeah, a huge danger. Okay. I've been really enjoying talking to you, and I know that you are very tight on time. Thank you so much for accepting our opportunity, and thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Thank you.